Am I a jerk for refusing to give my brother $250,000 from our parents' inheritance after he was scammed? I'm 34 years old, and I recently inherited $500,000 from my parents after they passed away. There was a slight delay in receiving the amount due to some legal complications. My younger brother, who is 30, received the same amount, but a few months after their death, he was scammed out of nearly all his savings in some shady investment scheme. Now he's asking me to share $250,000 from my inheritance to help him get back on his feet. He claims that our parents would have wanted us to have equal financial opportunities and that losing his money wasn't his fault. Yeah, right. And that he'll pay me back later. I feel really sorry for him, but I don't think it's fair to give up half of my inheritance for a mistake he made, however unfortunate it may be. I've worked hard, saved, and planned to use this money for my family's future. If I give him half, it will jeopardize my own financial security. My wife supports my decision, but some relatives think I'm being greedy and heartless, saying that family comes first. Am I a jerk? And now, some comments on this. No, you're not a jerk. Your parents already provided both of you with equal financial opportunities. It was your brother who messed up everything he had. He needs to sleep in the bed he made for himself. Your brother doesn't get extra bonus points for his stupidity. It's best to learn from this now. Stupidity can't be fixed. It's forever. He would probably do the same thing again. Every action has consequences, and he's reaping the rewards of his own actions. Tough luck for him. Not a jerk. If he had taken his $500,000 and doubled it in his investment scheme, would he have given you $250,000 so that both of you had equal financial opportunities like your parents would have wanted? Your parents indeed provided you with equal financial opportunities, but apparently they didn't manage to give you equal intellectual abilities. Your brother is an idiot. Firstly, for blowing through $500,000, and secondly, for thinking this is your problem. Probably, thirdly, for thinking he could take $250,000 and somehow turn it back into $500,000 so he can pay you back. Don't be a jerk. Tell the relatives who called you greedy and heartless that you let your brother know that they'll be giving him money to get back on his feet. You're not a jerk. His bad decisions are his problems. I just did that. Thank you so much for the idea. Now, the first update. Wow, this blew up. I didn't think I needed online strangers to knock some sense into me. Also, it's funny how quickly someone can go from calling every hour to a direct block. I called my brother and asked him what exactly happened, and told him I'd only give him the money if he told me the truth, and only the truth. He told me he invested in a company called ARRAMCO, obviously not the real one, got involved with a sheikh, and paid $10,000 the first time, where he got back $20,000. Then he began scaling up and always got double, until he invested $100,000 and got back $110,000. Then he got bold and invested $300,000, was guaranteed $600,000, and the rest is history. He filed a police report, but had no evidence to share, as he withdrew the money in cash and dealt in cash, only taking token receipts, which turned out to be fake. He kept the previously received amount in cash at his house. I only just realized how stupid someone can get. I told him that his lack of basic common sense and greed doesn't constitute grounds for charity on my part, and that he should take better care of the remaining $100,000. He yelled at me and said I had disappointed our parents. As for my relatives, I told them in a group chat that I'd be willing to give the same amount they're giving to my brother, and even offered to double it since I'm so greedy and want to prove them wrong. Thanks to the legendary commenter who suggested this idea. Love you. I got cursed out there too. Haha. Now they're all blocked. They said the money has gone to my head. Sorry for not replying to the comments. I was really wavering in my decision not to give him the money, and you guys just snapped me back to reality. Thank you. You all saved me. I was already on the side of not a jerk before the edit. But damn, he's just trying to scam you. He wants $250,000 when he already has $100,000 plus in his account. If you send him the money, he'll have $350,000, and you'll have $250,000 plus. How is that equal financial standing? What a jerk. I was very close to helping him out, and being a jerk to myself, thanks to this community. Second update. He called again. So after I blocked my brother and pesky relatives, thinking the drama was over, he found another way to get to me. He called through my wife. Turns out things are even worse than he initially told me. The $100,000 he had left is all going towards paying off loans and a car he financed. So he's basically left with nothing. He finally admitted how desperate he is, apologized for not being fully honest from the start, for being a jerk and yelling at me. He said he realizes he messed up big time. Greed got the better of him. And now he's asking for $100,000 instead of $250,000, promising to pay it back over time. He even said he'd appreciate any help I could offer if I couldn't give the full amount. Yes, I asked him about the previous returns he received. Turns out, he actually invested $350,000. The desperation in his voice was palpable. But honestly, I'm done with him. He wasn't always this reckless or stupid. Maybe I was wrong, but the guy I'm dealing with now is a complete mess. Thank you to everyone who helped me realize the huge mistake I was about to make. You guys saved my finances, and possibly even my life. I'm very grateful to all of you. Last story. Am I a jerk for asking someone to stop coming to my house without being invited? My wife gave her brother a key to our house. I usually come home for my lunch break, and many times I've found my wife's brother at our house without an invitation. No one else is home, but he comes over and eats my food for lunch. A few weeks ago, I had a 14-hour workday on Thursday and had to be at a construction site on Friday. I was struggling at the office and decided to finish the day early so I could go home and rest. When I got home, my brother-in-law was there. I was exhausted and really not in the mood for guests. Later that day, I texted him and said that I'm uncomfortable with his unexpected visits and asked him not to do that anymore. I told him that he's always welcome at my house, but I want to know when he's coming over and that I need boundaries. He seemed polite in his response, but I've sparked a civil war. My wife is mad at me, and so are her other siblings and parents. They said I'm weird and don't understand how sibling relationships work. In my opinion, it's weird and rude to act like you have unlimited access to someone else's home and food. Am I a jerk? Comment. Is your wife's family from a different culture or maybe another planet? They sound very different. I would lose my mind if I found one of my relatives in my house uninvited, especially if they were eating my food. That key needs to be taken back, or change the locks if your wife refuses. Not a jerk. Response: yes, she is Mexican-American, and her brother is the only son, so he has certain privileges in the family. Maybe it's normal in his family, but it definitely shouldn't be normal in yours. She has a skewed idea of what's normal. This is not normal. Comment: yeah, agreed. I feel like I'm going crazy with all these complaints from my wife and her family. Response: no, she's wrong. This is not normal at all. He can hang out at his mom's house and eat her food. It's time to pull the macho card and tell your wife you married her, not her brother. But that could change if she doesn't support your boundaries. If someone comes into my house when I'm not home, they're 100% losing the privilege of having a key. Comment: absolutely not. I wouldn't tolerate that. If I came home and found someone had entered without asking, I'd be furious and take the keys back. Response: exactly. A key is not an open invitation to use the house as your own. It's a sign of trust, in case you ever need to use it in an emergency. Yes, all my family members have keys to our homes. My dad is a locksmith, and he set it up so that any of us could help each other out in an emergency. But none of us, parents, siblings, even adult nieces and nephews, ever break that rule by going into someone's house without asking or being invited. Comment: totally. If you come into my house uninvited and unannounced, eat my food, and lounge around like it's your own, then you're paying me rent, utilities, and food costs. My wife can move back home or in with her brother if they don't get this,